Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Great way to kick off the week with a Monday afternoon webinar. And we're very delighted to be here again, back in association with Let's Talk CX, in association with Oracle. And today we're going to be talking about marketing automation. When marketing automation first started, it was actually viewed as this wonderful tool which is going to do everything by itself with no interference, no work at all from marketers. That was around 10 years ago. Now that marketing automation is a reality, we all know that that's not exactly how things are working. So in today's webinar, we're going to be talking about some of the myths as well as some of the best practices that we can adopt for marketing automation. Because at least in my personal experience, what often happens is that one, we tend to automate the things that we don't need to automate. The second is that often we don't fix the processes before we automate. So we just end up automating the inefficiencies. So that's something to watch out for. So today, to help us understand this topic better, we have with us Pradeep Bantwal, who's a senior sales consultant, marketing cloud for Oracle. And we also have a hands-on practitioner. We have Marmik Mankodi, who's a growth hacker, marketing product and strategy for Fasos. I guess we've all enjoyed to hand over the stage to Pradeep Bantwal now. And sorry, before I do that, Pradeep, quick housekeeping. If you have any questions, you can post them in the chat window and the speakers will reply to them there. And we would like you to be on mute and with your video switched off as well for those who are not the speakers. Otherwise, it gets a little distracting for everybody else. So with that, over to you, Pradeep.
Yeah, hi, Jesse. Can you please pass the controls to me?
Hey, you.
This
Pradeep, you can go ahead and share your screen.
Yeah, hi, Jesse. Just saying I can't share my screen while the other participant is sharing. Yeah, thanks.
Pradeep, you can now see your screen.
Right. Yeah, thanks everyone for joining. I'm Pradeep Bantwal and I'm a senior consultant with Oracle Marketing Cloud. Today I'm joining this discussion, which is about busting common myths of marketing automation. And so I'll spend a few minutes on the current state of marketing automation to kick off the discussion. Yeah, I could be talking about a few products here and there and a few forward-looking statements, and so this is needed. Agenda is going to be more on, I'll just discuss the state of marketing automation. We'll see what really is marketing automation today. We look at what does marketing automation look like when it is implemented. How do we actually go ahead and use marketing automation systems and tools, and why we do it. I have a couple of thoughts on key takeaways, and so I'll leave you with those, discussion points before I move to the next presenter. So in today's competitive era, organizations are looking to get the most ROI from every rupee spent. Marketing teams are no different, and so marketing automation solutions bring together processes, teams, and technology through its pre-integrated marketing ecosystem and help bring transparency, operational efficiency, and also help extract more returns on marketing investments by bringing more leads, more qualified leads, doing better nurturing, and more conversion. So marketing automation is really, missing link between marketing and sales. If you look at the marketing ecosystem today, it's been found that organizations today use on an average over 17 different tools These could be point tools for email, SMS, gathering data, doing digital marketing, social, etc. And so this really leads to a disconnected marketing experience, and eventually a very disconnected customer experience. Marketing automation helps give a structure, may not be throughout, but today it is pretty advanced and gives a structure to all these different activities, and helps you actually get. Uh, I'm sorry, there's a bit of a disturbance. Yeah, helps marketers manage a single view of all the marketing activities and also build, a unified customer profile across the different channels. All this really boils down to delivering a personalized experience to your customers and engaging the right prospects and customers at the right time, using the right channel with the right content. So first question for today is, what does marketing automation look like? you know Marketing automation typically starts with identifying the segments of prospects, customers. A marketing automation platform can, however, work with multiple segment groups and audiences at the same time. So you might have certain campaigns and programs running for social leads, certain campaigns for your current customers, renewals, expansions, upsell, cross sell, etc. A marketing automation tool, next looks at what kind of experience we can build. So uh, you know engaging, nurturing, helping drive them to the next stage in the buying process. So if someone is searching for your products and services, how do we make them look at our products? If they are actually in the buying stage or decision making stage, how do we make them go ahead and purchase? And this needs to happen digitally today because most engagements are digital. But marketing automation, just doesn't stop there. It churns out leads, and through activities, through digital body language, we are able to drive more leads, and finally drive more conversion. And this is a typical process or flow we see with marketing automation. But marketing automation today just doesn't stop here. uh, Marketing automation should not just stop there. Today, an MA system should also help you answer questions like, who were these people who converted? What made them convert? And more importantly, what is the learning from the different campaigns and experiences we built? How can we repeat the success? And finally, where did they come from? What can I do to bring more customers and prospects? So it's really a closed loop process, and just doesn't involve sending out campaigns or publishing blogs. It's a more closed loop integrated process. So having said that, let's really look at a system wise implementation of a marketing automation system. So let's tie the scenarios we discussed in the last slide to six major functional areas. And I see this as these six core areas that marketing automation systems today provide. So if you look at a major platform like Oracle Marketing Cloud, you would find that they have these six core functions. First is the segmentation. So using prospect and customer profile information, digital body language, which is their interaction with your digital assets, past historical data like transactions and feedback, um, etc., to actually build a segment. A lot of new age machine learning tools can also help here in audience discovery and segmentation. The next step is to really design an experience. You can call it a campaign, a program, a journey, for these segments. And again, tools there are tools that help build you these experiences. So adaptive experience tools can help you come up with campaigns and experiences that are have a higher success score. So you can, by machine learning, you can predict what are these experiences that are chances of giving you better outcomes. Pairing this with treatments that can be used here, things like B2C, we see things like next best offers to help progress the sales stage, help capture more information and feedback, and finally do things like lead scoring along with marketing analytics that can offer insights, can help us improve these processes and campaigns and experiences. So lead scoring really becomes an engine that can help identify right leads and pass off to sales. So it's a closed loop process, and you can constantly improve on your campaigns and engagements in this process. So if you're leading a marketing automation project or looking to implement a marketing automation system in your organization, there are these three key areas to look at, which can really help you, have success with the success in your project. First is to align the people in your organization, map organization roles in context of core processes like content, campaign management, data analytics, IT, business, etc. Use tools like campaign playbooks to document processes, review and optimize your playbooks every quarter or every month. This must be the most boring activity really, but very, very crucial. Customer journey mapping, testing, optimization can bring in huge returns with minimal investment of time and labor. Sometimes marketing automation adoption, or implementation looks to be very complicated, but really there has to be a phased approach in play. So plan integrations in advance, ensure that the organization has a training program as well, and at least power users for core system management are trained. Again, a top tier marketing automation solution will have a training, certification and online education program paired with the subscription. So most of these top end tools would have that. The last question for today is how do we do it? So and why do it? So first is to improve segmentation and targeting. So it helps improve targeting and segmentation. In this case, one of the case studies I was looking at is Trend Micro, for example. It was able to improve customer engagement by 63%, attributed to better targeting. So this was a particular use case where they were able to better segment and target customers with a particular content. And apart from improving other KPIs like conversion, there was almost 63% jump in customer engagement. Next would be acquiring contacts is costly, and so systems like these can also help you nurture contacts that you already acquired for longer time and not let them slip out of your pipe. The right nurturing program can impact more than just the bottom line. It can help build awareness of important issues and build stronger relationships too. This was a case when Jackson Healthcare, one of the largest healthcare staffing companies in the United States, launched a strategic nutritioning campaign with a give more than ask philosophy. It went on to deepen relationships with key hospital constituencies, increase awareness of community health issues, and share significant stories of how hospital programs are positively impacting the underdeserved. Jackson Healthcare saw a 24% lift in nominations for its National Charitable Service Awards, fulfilling the award program's nominations. It also helps better lead quality and with the better lead quality, and also help produce more leads. So many a times, Eaton, for example, knew it needed to keep up not only with competition but also the way customers were researching and interacting with their products online. So in order to meet these changing needs, the Eaton marketing team utilized an existing successful email program as the foundation for new lead nurturing program focused on re-engaging dormant customers. The results, a campaign that is forecast to drive over $2 million in pipeline opportunity within 18 months from this program. And this was really driven by a marketing automation tool. As discussed earlier, marketing automation is not just for marketing teams. At Samsung, marketing ROI used to be considered as Samsung France, for example. Marketing ROI used to be considered as a mere buzzword. Not only was it hard to measure, but aligning sales and marketing on the same lead management wavelength was a major challenge. After adopting marketing automation, it didn't take them long for results to materialize. In a matter of months, the team went from being, product push cost center to a customer-centric revenue center. Not to mention a global best practice inside the organization, and the results were astonishing. Marketing to pipeline contribution went from 5% to 40%, nothing but record time. A lead conversion from 60 to 70. And finally, marketing measurement. So we also need more and more budgets, right? And if only we could justify, for them as easily as we ask for it. So marketing automation can help here as well. So Callaway Golf was able to, in this case, automate programs in a matter of days and was able to measure a marked increase in open rates by 45%. This pushed them to adopt more best practices, implement the solution, adopt more, complex use cases, and win more buy-in internally. So it is not always the product and its features that are important, but internal buying would also play a key role. And so this use case is very interesting. And so here are just a couple of reasons to actually look at an integrated approach to digital marketing, and it all boils down to a better ROI, better CX, and increased revenue. And isn't that the most important KPI that we have today? My last slide for today is just going to be on these 4 key takeaways. So remember, marketing automation is a key link between sales and marketing. And marketing automation today is not just about outbound marketing or just pushing emails, or not just about content marketing and just getting inbound leads, but it has become a more all-bound system. Marketing clouds today help fix broken marketing experience by providing an integrated suite of omni-channel marketing. It always need not be one single tool, but it is always necessary that you look at an integrated approach. And stitching together disparate point solution can cost you up to 10x the cost of seamlessly integrated suite when you look at the entire picture, opportunity cost, etc. And finally, my point would be to plan ahead and take a solution approach rather than a point app approach. It is always important to have your processes implemented the way they should, but it always is easier to plan ahead and look at a platform approach and a solution approach. Yeah, with that, I would like to pass on the controls to Marmik.
Great. If you could just close your screen and we will move to Marmik.
Sure.
Thanks so much. And there are questions for you in the chat window. So Pradeep, maybe you could just take a stab at answering those as well.
Sure. Yeah, I would. Can I take those questions now?
Yeah, sure. It's in the chat window. So yeah, maybe you could just type your answers, and then at the end of Marmik's session, we will discuss them a little bit.
Sure.
Do you have time?
Sure. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks so much. I'm now going to invite Marmik onto the floor. Marmik, if you could do a quick mic check, and we can just check that we can
Hi
hear
guys,
you.
Marmik this side.
Hi. So what we're going to do, and Fasos needs no introductions. I think almost everybody here has had something from Fasos, and it's a really, really fast growth brand. So what we wanted to do today was to kind of have you help us to bust some of the common myths of marketing automation. So myth one, feeling that you need to have tons of data, tons of work, and therefore marketing automation is relevant for large businesses. What's your view on that?
Hi, so to begin with, so as you guys might have already eaten from Fasos and know a bit about us, we're not that large an organization. We would consider ourselves to be a small to mid-sized business, right? And marketing automation is like absolutely relevant for us, even at this point of time. Now, one of the most basic outcomes of marketing automation is the amount of time that you save. Now, for a company like us, which is from, somewhere in the range of mid-size to small, time is one of the most, valuable assets for us. And considering the mere fact that we work in a very lean structure, I mean, marketing automation does end up solving a lot of problems for us. Now, even if we consider the amount of data that, mid-size organizations like us us are capturing, it makes a very strong use case to implement marketing automation into our campaigns. Now, it improves the slicing and dicing efficiencies of our campaigns, and reduces the time spent on keeping triggering repeated campaigns use case. So when it comes to our customer referral program, Invite and Earn, so we figured that the most potent customers to invite their friends were the ones who used credits on our platform. Credits are our form is an earmarked currency that's applicable on Fasos. So what we initially used to do back when I had joined was we used to cull out the database. We used to database of users who had iterative process, and people just there are times that humans being human getting some marketing automation. What we did was we actually as Pradeep had mentioned, which actually helped us automate these campaigns, and things ran on autopilot for this particular customer segment, and we could focus on something else. Now, last but not the least, it becomes very easy to customer channel. Now, as Pradeep had rightly mentioned, that by actually understand what your customer prefers and the channel that they prefer, and save the cost by 10 times. So here we end up A, not spamming the customers, in channels that they don't like, and B, only communicate or reach out to them on channels that are most effective to them. So basically the conclusion would be that efficiency and customer delight can be brought onto customers by using these tools. So yeah, that's what I would add to this point.
And in the mid to long term, what kind of benefits do you think people expect?
One long-term benefit. So the main long-term benefit that I would suggest is the amount of time saved and the kind of different campaigns that you can keep on running, right? So I mean, if you're not really spending time on repetitive day-to-day camps, you can go ahead and plan a lot of other campaigns that can run on autopilot and reach out to customers in their preferred communication channel.
And also, did you kind of see that after you adopted marketing automation, your data actually kind of exponentially grew, or did you find that, it was actually controlled in a better way?
So to be very honest, as an organization, our post marketing automation also ended up growing, but we had much more control over the parameters, that we were saving for our customers. We could understand and eliminate the ones we did not need.
Okay. So I think maybe we can move to the second myth, which is put that up. Great. This is actually a challenge which I hear a lot of marketers talk about, which is really hard to put in implementation. And even if you see some of the questions, running in the chat window, it is, do you become very dependent on tech? And what about cybersecurity? So what do you think? What's worked for you, and how hard is it on a scale of 1 to 10?
On a scale of 1 to 10, considering the mere fact that I can do it, I would rate it somewhere between 1 to 5, probably a 2 or a 3. Now, why I say this is because I come from a mechanical engineering background, and whatever I've learned about marketing has been on the job, right? So, sorry. So, marketing automation, I mean, from my point of view, is neither difficult to deploy or use. Now, what it really factors in is the kind of input fields that you use in your tool, right? So your marketing automation tool is as difficult to use as you tend to make it. Now, any program builder or a journey builder or any tool as such, what it asks you is to design an effective schema of your database, replicate it on their model, and then run programs or campaigns on it. So, I guess it's very important for you to understand the kind of campaigns that you want to run it, and the parameters that you would require, and how your database is structured. Now, if you don't really want to get into understanding the database structure, you can let your tech team really do it. But otherwise, I would really recommend a marketer to dig deep into the way the data is stored in the system. Now, I mean, I'll give a very simple example. So, in terms of, I'll again move into the whole customer referral program that ran on basis of, us targeting customers who had just used our credits. Now, to run that campaign, there were only a couple of fields that would have been required at my end. So the first one would be the order details. The second one would be, did they use their credits in their order? And the third one would be the kind of balance that they have in their Faso's wallet. So if these are the only three tools, these are the only three columns that I require from my database, it would be irrelevant for me to add in other additional columns. Or we can even extrapolate it to a few other campaigns that we run. So, for example, we run a campaign for our high discount users. So to do so, what we have is, we have a field where we check the discounts that are being accrued in a particular order. Now, what we've done is, we've created a custom plugin, a custom column where we calculate the discount percentage. This was of a particular order. Now, this was done using the help of our tech and the customer success team of the marketing automation panel. And what we ended up achieving was understanding the discount percentage of a customer on every particular order that they place, and we would segment users based on their discount percentage accordingly. I hope I answered your question here. If there are any follow-up questions, feel free to ask me.
There are actually some questions, but we'll take that after the session. So one of the questions I had again was around repetitive data, and what's your best practice on avoiding that?
Um, I guess in terms of repetitive data, what I would really recommend is to understand the schema, right? Your data, your personal, your company's database structure, and ensure that you don't feed in repetitive links. For example, so if any of you, I mean, for the guys who already used a marketing automation tool, if any of you repeat particular events, right? So it's important that if a particular attribute is stored in one particular property, then it's very much advisable to ensure that you don't store that particular attribute in other events, to reduce the complexities in campaign creation.
Great. So there's actually a question around the myth three, which is marketing automation stops once the sale is closed. So there is a question from Dipan asking, how does it help you to achieve customer loyalty? So maybe you could address both. I mean, the loyalty and the after sale aspect.
Yeah, sure. So, to be very honest, this is a very important and strong use case for us. to deploy marketing automation once the sale is closed. Now, essentially, one of the biggest reasons this becomes important for us is because we do not only sell Fasos. We have a lot of other brands. We have brands that sell biryani. We have a brand that sells pizza. We have a brand that sells fusion food, so on and so forth. So, right. So it becomes very important for us to not only engage a particular customer for campaigns for one particular brand, but we even use the data set that we have to target those users for the other brands in our portfolio. So once we get an order from a customer in one of our brands, we use that data to build customer clusters for sending out communications for other brands as well. And we've built comprehensive journeys around these clusters, and this has significantly improved our cross selling, which actually went up by 50% over a period of 1 quarter. So what we essentially do is we have customers based on their products and the type of products that they consume. So we build clusters around that. So for example, if you have ordered a wrap that contains a lot of cheese, what we do is we put you in a cohort that loves to eat cheese, and we try to cross sell you cheesy products from our other offerings, pizza, for example, right? So we try to cross sell pizza to those customers. And when you hit the right context to the right customer, you see a lift against the control group. So we see a 50% lift in conversion over the control group when we deploy such smart customer clusters. And I mean, in terms of the loyalty that we build, I would say that around 5 to 10% of our week's active customers have been engaged through one campaign or the other. Yep.
So I'm going to ask a slightly different question.
Okay.
What do you think became really easy for you after you implemented marketing automation? And that's a question from Kanika as well.
Thing that campaigns, right? Because if you're linked to one particular campaign, you're linked to that campaign throughout in your database structure or in the marketing automation tool. So you could track the lifetime value of the customer and their behavior post engaging with a particular set of communications. Now, I mean, this is not only apologies for the laughter. I got distracted by a question which asked me to share coupon codes once the meeting is over. I would definitely share that. So yeah, as far as the whole ease ease part, the whole part of a marketer's ease is concerned, right? So as I said, so let's say if I've acquired a customer through a particular source, I could map him from the source and see what are the other channels that he responds to, and what are the type of products that he buys, and what is the kind of value that he brings in for me as an organization as well. So I mean, that is one thing that marketing automation has really solved for us.
And in terms of, three things maybe that you would ask people to make a note of before they embark on marketing automation, what would that be?
So three things primarily from my end would be: A, know your audience, right? B, know your product really well and the kind of audience that would react to your proposition. And C, keep on continuously measuring the performance of your campaigns. It's a very mundane job, running down those reports daily, but it's very much required. In fact, what we do is, after we deploy a campaign, we've made a 2 by 2 decision matrix that we use to understand the effectiveness of a particular campaign. So how it runs is, let's say, what we do is we measure the click-through rates and the conversion that we achieve from a particular campaign. So let's say if my click-through rate is low, and by conversion I mean purchase. So if my click-through rate for a campaign is low, and if I'm getting low conversions out of the clicks that I'm receiving, we tend to remove the campaign altogether or stop the campaign altogether. When my click-through rates are low and my conversion or my purchases are high from those clicks, I change the audience. So what that essentially does is that it unlocks the whole campaign communication to a set of audience that has more propensity to buy, right? That has a more propensity to click. Sorry. Now, if my click-through rates are high but my conversion is low, that essentially means that my call to action is not clear. So we end up, improving the call to action. And if my click-through rates and my purchases are high, we let the campaign churn out more revenues for us.
Great. With that, Marmik, I'm going to let you go, but I want you to stay back for a couple of questions that I'd like both you and Pradeep to answer. So thanks again, and yeah, don't worry about the coupons.
Yeah.
I'm hoping he's not serious about that. So Pradeep and Marmik, I do want to ask you one question, which is, how does marketing automation become a competitive differentiator for a brand?
So, Pradeep, would you want to answer that?
Yeah, sure, Marvik. Yeah, Jesse. So, see, really, marketing automation really brings together, as I said, processes that you currently follow. Um, in most cases, we see customers, following the same set of processes, similar campaigns, but they're able to get to market very quickly, right? To start off with, leave alone the lot of functionalities and cutting edge technology that we keep adding to these platforms. Just doing things the customers are already doing and doing it in a better way adds a lot of value. And so this means for a B2C company, it means getting out offers, more offers at more offers that can convert more customers, get more customers from competition, and do it at a lower cost. So as Mamik said, people who have a higher propensity to convert, you can spend more, you can spend better offers to them and get better conversion, and each conversion means one less customer for the competition. And so doing it efficiently, doing it more often, and doing it to the right audience is a huge competitive differentiator.
I think Marmik is already putting in action. He's giving us a coupon code on the spot. So clearly, marketing automation is a competitive differentiator.
Yeah.
Yes, that's actually a brilliant example of how it works for B2C. Any ideas of how we can use marketing automation for B2B? Because that's one of the questions that's come up as well.
Okay, absolutely. So in my presentation, I briefly touched upon the experience part. I briefly touched upon, what would be, what can a lead scoring can do? How can we identify the best leads? Because typically in a B2B scenario, sales cycle is a bit longer, and the engagement with content is also, a bit longer. And so identifying the right prospect at the right time gives you higher returns. It also reduces the amount the firefighting you would have to do, objection handling you have to do with the competition, um, with the customer regarding the competition, and a lot of other things like pricing and so on. So uh, in B2B it is even more relevant. So throughout the buying cycle, right from search to educating the customer, uh, to actually converting them, and also doing an upsell or cross sell, which typically happens in a B2B scenario. All of these use cases can be managed in a marketing automation system. And so any time when we feel that there's a lead and it's a qualified lead, it needs to be pushed to sales. And it's actually a team activity, because if you're pushing too many leads to sales, they're just wasting their time. right? And they won't be able to focus on the right deals. If you're pushing too little leads, sales won't make their numbers. And so it's a very delicate balance between sales and marketing. And so marketing automation, those processes you put in place, those models you put in place really helps identify the best prospects and leads and help you convert and get those revenues.
I'm going to take this as a more general question. There's one from Rohan Chandok on, if you're a small business, how do you start with marketing automation? I think, we'll also take this as a last question of, which are the areas that are most amenable to marketing automation? And is there any kind of a, metric you can give saying how big should your audience be, or how many, contacts should you have before you embark on this journey?
Okay. So I don't really see small businesses having a challenge adopting marketing automation. Um, every customer who has at least anything above 2,000 or 3,000 contacts can start with marketing automation. It doesn't matter. You need not be a B2C company that manages millions of customers and contacts. It's not necessary. It always depends on either the size of the contact or the depth of the engagement. So in case of B2C, it is the size of the contacts, and the purchase decisions are quicker, and so you have to run more campaigns, more promotions. In B2B, it is the depth of the engagement. So it could be just 2,000 customers, but you engage with them for maybe 6 months. And so marketing automation can help you in both these aspects, right? So it could be a small organization, but it could be B2B organization that works with 500 customers. It is still very important to adopt a marketing automation solution.
Great. With that, I think we will call a close to this very, very engaging session. Thanks to everyone who joined, and particularly our very excellent speakers who have actually given us a very exciting discussion today, Pradeep and Marmik. And what? Yeah, great. Thank you so much for an Oracle event, the impact, and that's going to talk about AI, IoT, blockchain. So if you all would like to attend, the registration link is up here as well if you want to continue the conversation. We have recorded this webinar, and we will be sending you a mail on how you can access it. And you can also stay in touch with us through paulreiter.com, Let's Talk CX. So with that, thanks once again to everyone. Do enjoy your rolls or biryani or pizza, and have a great week ahead. This is Jessie Paul from Paul Reiter. Thanks again for joining us.